Monday. Welcome to another episode of Be the Light with me, Sarah G. I'm going to be really honest. I shot this video earlier today and then my memory, I have so many videos that I have saved and all this other stuff. My memory, I deleted a lot of them before, anyways, I made the big mistake. Before I finished saving the edited version, I deleted it because my storage was acting funny. And then before you know it, boom, it was no longer available. And so, here we are again. So technically, this is my second go through, but that's what happens behind the scenes. That's life, whatever. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Welcome to a Monday. This is Monday. This weekend was great. Got some great quality time with Spencer yesterday on his day off. I absolutely loved it. We gave Mr. Flash a bath, so he's feeling good. His tail's been wagging extra lately, so everyone's feeling good. It's the start of a new week. Here we go. Has any, raise your hand. I know I can't see you guys, but let's put our hands up if we have been watching or if we watched the entire Last Dance documentary on ESPN. I did, and wow, it was amazing. Every Sunday I was so engaged and so ready. I don't watch TV or anything like that, so I don't even binge watch Netflix, believe it or not. There's only I think I've only seen Ozark, and I recently watched Jane the Virgin. That's forever old, and even then it took me a minute to get through that. So I spend most of my time honestly reading, listening to podcasts, reflecting on life, just talking to people. That's just the way I choose to live my life. That's what makes me happy. That's what makes me feel fulfilled, so heck yeah. I've been dedicated to watching The Last Dance because it's so great. I mean, it's a story about Michael, who, is a GOAT, the greatest of all time, GOAT. And I honestly grew up knowing how absolutely just 1 in a million, trillion, billion. I knew that he was one of those guys. But to rewatch some of these games and hear his backstory or on some of the incidents that happened throughout the time that he was playing, this guy was absolutely resilient and remarkable. His mentality and focus is no other. If you watch the documentary, you know that he just the way he played the game was from such a genuine space. He knew that he could easily kick anyone's ass. And he loved doing it, but he also challenged. I feel like he played the game more so, not for himself to prove that he was the greatest of all time, but just to challenge other people to become better individuals. His leadership was just so amazing. He pushed people to do things, and work harder and outside of their comfort zones, but it was all at the end of the day things that he wasn't willing to do himself. This guy he could easily watching. Guys, if you haven't seen this documentary, 1, I highly recommend it. 2, we can all learn something like Mike. Hashtag be like Mike. Amen, for real. I'm not even kidding. This guy is the one that I want to learn from. That's one of the reasons I was so engaged in this documentary, because I was learning so much about life and just the mental pursuit of where you need to be to get to where you want to go and chase your dreams. The reason he was so great wasn't because of his athletic ability. It was literally his mental mind, his mental capacity. This guy, he just had so much power up here, so much knowledge. He was a student of the game. That's what made him so great, because he worked when other people weren't working. So talk about wanting to be inspired. Watch Be the Last Dance if you haven't already. And then after this video, I want you to tell me what what your takeaways were, what kept you excited, what you learned from it, just how it's motivated you now and what you in your life every day. Dude, tell me, I want to know. So because of Be the Last Dance, I want to just celebrate. Yes, last night was the last 2 episodes. I'm kind of sad. I'm actually going to go back and rewatch all 10 because they're just that great. But because of Be the Last Dance, in honor of that, today the topic that I'm bringing up is relentless. And relentless, I chose because of MJ, but if you know a little bit about MJ and his story, you've heard of the name Tim Grover. Tim Grover worked and trained with Michael for 15 years, and then after that he went on to work with Kobe Bryant, who also is another legend. R.I.P. Kobe, we love you. But yeah, so this guy knows what he's talking about. You know, you probably heard this, like, who do you listen to? And if you haven't heard that line before, who do you listen to? I recommend listening to people who have what you want. And Michael and Kobe and Tim Grover, and you know, they have things that I want. They have that mental toughness. They have things that I want to be there. They've mastered things that I want to get better at. So obviously I'm going to listen to them because they can give solid advice based off of their experience. You know, they're not just talking, you know, for the sake of talking, you know, like they are incredible people to learn from. But I have some notes in front of me, and I'm legit going to be reading off of them here and there throughout today's session, because we went back. Tim Grover did a podcast with Ed Milet, who you also know is one of my favorite people in all of the world. Shout out to you, Ed Milet. I love you. Ed Milet did a podcast with Tim Grover about 3 years ago, and it was really good. So I recommend either today or whenever you get the chance. This podcast is about a little less than an hour, and it was right around the time that the Relentless book was being released. And he just has so many great things to say about what he learned while working with Michael and Kobe, but mainly Michael. So yeah, let's get to it. Relentless, just, you know, the determination to keep going no matter what gets placed in front of you, no matter the obstacles, zero excuses. I'm going to get to the, you know, I'm going to chase my dreams. I'm going to become the person I want to be. Nothing and no one will stand in my way. You're going to have what you want. And I just love that term so much. Like, it's just so powerful. Something that it reminded me about, the term relentless takes me back to when I first met Spencer. He recommended, obviously, a lot of good people and books for me to read. But one of those people was Kevin Trudeau, who also, look him up if you haven't already. KT speaks, one of my favorite things that KT has ever said was, you can have, be, or do anything that you want. And that is so true, y'all. You can have, be, or do anything that you want. There is no dream that is too big that you can't go after, especially if you want it bad enough. And that, honestly, that's the only way you will achieve any of your dreams, is you have to want it badly enough. If you don't want it badly enough, you won't get it. It's like people who want to lose weight and be fit or whatever, you know, they can make all the excuses. I don't have money, I don't have time, I can't do this, I can't do that, I might have a kid, blah, blah, blah. Like, all these excuses. Guys, if you really, really want something, you'll figure out a way to make it happen, you know? It's like if your kid you wanted to give your kid something, you're going to work your ass off to make sure that you can provide that for them, a roof over their head, whatever it may be. You know, you don't make excuses. You just do it because you have to, or because you want to be able to be that person who provides that for them, you know? So take that attitude into all aspects of life for things that you really, really want. And if you don't really, really want it, well, then guess what? You're going to settle for wherever you're at right now, and that's totally up to you. It's your life. Live your life however you want it. But that's just not the mentality I choose to have. So there's a lot of things that I kind of want to touch on really quickly that I took notes on. I'm going to try my best to stay as organized as I can. Another, like, just so y'all know, I have to go somewhere else in like 45 minutes and I haven't even showered yet. So yeah, this is going to be like the Cliff Notes version of what I did earlier, which kind of makes me sad. But yeah, reach out to me if you want to know more about relentlessness and this attitude behind it. But yeah, so applied knowledge. I spoke about this. I feel like I've talked about this before. Knowledge is not knowledge unless you apply it. And all these notes, guys, that I'm going to be going over are things that Tim Grover spoke about in his podcast, and things that I witnessed while watching the Last Dance documentary. Just a great example of how to live your life and get what you want. Something that Tim Grover touched on was that knowledge isn't knowledge unless you apply it. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees that you have, or if you graduated with honors and all of that other stuff. Like, all that ultimately is just a piece of paper until you start applying it, like physically applying it into this world, and being an example of what you learned. That is knowledge. You know, that's when you gain that experience and you can truly speak from your heart and say, hey, this is what I gained, this is what I know. You know it because you're doing it, you're living it. It's not just something something that you went to school for, you know? So yay on that. Michael Jordan told Tim Grover, I don't pay you to train me. I pay you so you don't train anybody else. Like, he wanted Tim Grover on his team because he knew that he could benefit from having someone like him on his side. Tim Grover obviously understood Michael in a way that a lot of other people didn't. And that comes with success. Tim Grover touches on success a lot in this podcast, and he talks about how the more successful you become, the smaller your circle becomes. And that just kind of happens on its own, because as you're, going through your journey to get to where you want to go, people either have your back or they don't, or you just start to realize that I need to sacrifice certain things in certain areas. And that's not saying that you don't love, your family or your friends. And obviously everyone wants to be able to be at graduations and birthdays and all the little celebrations, but ultimately there is a certain amount of sacrifice that has to be made for people who want to be really, really, really successful. And y'all heard me speak about that and how I've already begun that process as I'm evolving. That's what we spoke about on Friday. Evolving and how I've let go of certain friends. And you just kind of realize that you need to distance yourself from your competition, from friends and family at times, just to, like I said, help you stay on your path to success. And that's okay. And the people who are going to stay in your circle are the people who understand that and respect, you and where you're going. And so ultimately it's not about like I like you or dislike you. It's just, hey, this is what's best for me. And if you really, really love me, then you'll accept that and realize that it's just what we have to do right now, so amen to that. Woo! So I'm gonna kind of talk about like challenges that he speaks about, like that people have. All this is going to be about getting to where you want to go, ultimately having that success that Michael experienced. Like I said, from the beginning, Michael didn't have his success because of his athletic ability. Yes, he was obviously gifted, more like extremely gifted, but it was because he was, like I said, a student of the game. He put in the work. He stayed. He was the first one there, the last one to leave. He racked the balls at the end of practice. Didn't matter how much success he gained, he still remembered to stay humble and remind himself where he came from by doing the small things every day, booking his own flights, packing his own clothes for interviews, lacing up his own shoes before the game. He didn't pay people to do that just because he could. He could have easily paid people to do multiple tasks to help make his life easier, but he chose to continue to do the hard work or those little things, just like I said, to help remind him of how far he's come and where he started and how easily everything that he's worked for could be taken away if he didn't continue to, stay humbled and be true to who he was. So props to you, Mike. Like, oh my God, hashtag like Mike. It's absolutely incredible. This guy's a beast. GOAT. Sorry, I always get a little distracted. Our Airbnb is like really close to AT&T Stadium, and sometimes like the most random people drive by and I'm like, oh, but it's fun. Let's see here. So Tim Grover talks about coolers and cleaners. So it's just two different types of people that he's identified through his experience. Obviously, they both wouldn't be. They both stand out, but they both need each other. They both benefit from having the other around. So a cooler is more so we're just not necessarily, I don't want to say an average Joe, but kind of so, where they work hard, they do great, they're nice people, but at the end of the day, there's they're missing that. They're just missing something that gives them that spark to help them stand out from everyone else. And a cleaner is the one that is relentless, that's gonna be this really intense person all the time, not just in certain moments, to keep them going on their path to success. And so being a cleaner, he gave a great example, is when say, you know, there's two different people that go to the gym. There's a person that goes to the gym and, you know, wants a pat on the back for, you know, arriving there. They're the ones that show up to the gym and say, oh man, half the battle was just getting here. Give me a pat on the back. I made it. And then they proceed to spend, you know, they stay there 2 or 3 hours, but instead of, you know, making the most out of those 2 or 3 hours, they're there on their phones, taking selfies in the locker room, changing. And like, when it comes down to it, only maybe 10% of their time spent at the gym was doing, you know, working out, you know. And then you have someone with a cleaner mentality walk in, and their perspective on, you know, putting in work is, hey, I got to the gym. It wasn't hard work getting here. Where the hard work starts is, now that I'm here, what am I gonna physically do to make the most out of my time? They're the ones that, you know, have their headphones in, and, you know, they get on a machine and they spend the time that they need to on it, and then they move on to the next. They're not sitting there lollygagging, wasting their time on anything. Like, they just go there, get the work done. They don't let all, you know, all these little distractions that other people make as excuses get in the way. So you'll see those clearly when, you know, gyms start to open up again, whenever that is, or just off of your, you know, past experiences. When you go, like, you know who's there to do work, and you know who's there just for the sake, for, you don't know, whatever silly reason that they make up in their minds. But yeah. So that's something that I respect greatly. It's something that I myself, you know, strive to do every day. I'm always, you know, proud of myself for being really self-motivated. I've never needed anyone to inspire me to work out, even though I haven't always looked as fit as I am now. I've spoken to y'all about this before, where I've always worked out my entire life. I can't remember the last time I did not move in a day. What got me to where I am now is I changed my eating habits. You know, I put one and one together. But as far as always being motivated to just move, that's always been something that I've, you know, prided myself in, because I don't need a group setting. I don't need someone to watch me. I don't need someone to, you know, get me all amped up and excited, or tell me, oh yeah, you're so great. Like, no, I'm gonna do it because I know I need to, and it makes me feel good at the end of the day. So it's always just cool putting those connections together when these people that I look up to and admire and that I learn from, when I see qualities in myself that resemble theirs, and I'm like, yes, you know, I'm doing something right. Like, I am going to be great. And Tim Grover touches on that. He says that what you tell yourself every day, you really start to believe. And you'll hear like Rachel Hollis speak about that, and a lot of great people is, you know, that's why when she has you write down in my gratitude journal, the first 5 lines are 5 things that I'm grateful for, and then the next is 10 lines of dreams I made happen. And she encourages us to write the dreams down as if they already have happened. And so when I'm writing down, like, I am a phenomenal wife to Spencer, am I technically a wife right now? No, but will I be? Yes. I am a famous Mexican restaurant owner. That's in there. Do I have a restaurant right now? No, but will I? Yes. Another one that I write is, I compete in triathlons and marathons. Have I done both of those? I've competed in a marathon, but have I done a triathlon yet? No. Am I going to? Yes. Actually, later on this year, hopefully, God willing, you know? But the point is to write them down as if you've already achieved them, because you're telling your mind that you are capable of, and you've already done it. So it just makes the process easier, because your mind already thinks that it can. So there's just so much power behind that. Your mind is just such a powerful tool. That's why I like to listen to, you know, self-development, or that's why I like to read self-development books and listen to people who speak about motivation and empowerment, and just mindset overall, because this mind, what you believe, you saw it growing up in elementary school, you believe it and achieve it. Like, that stuff is real, as cliche as it sounds. It's real. You can have, be, or do whatever you want. I just spoke about that. So if you believe it, it's yours. And the only way that you're not going to have it is if you yourself put the limitation on it. So that's that. Intensity. He touches on intensity and how just to block out any distractions. And so say you know, the intense person goes to the gym, and, you know, they're intense in their workouts, and they go in there and they they sweat and they get their work done without any distractions. But once they leave the gym, that intensity goes with them. They go home and they're intense about the way they eat. Like we eat a certain way. We're not here to mess around. Like we're trying to achieve these goals that we have set in our minds, when they go to work, they're intense about that. Like, I'm going to go here and I'm going to perform at this level, even if this is the standard that, my boss is holding me to. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to perform up here so they know that I'm capable of more, A cleaner personality is always putting themselves in situations that aren't necessarily comfortable, there are situations that they can prove themselves. There are situations where they're having to take risks. There are situations where they're going to fail. And the cleaner loves that type of situation because they know that they're going to grow from it, I'm a big advocate for doing things outside of your comfort zone. And for a lot of people, that's easier said than done. But once you make it a habit in your life to constantly just try new things, you're going to crave it and you're going to never be satisfied with just one way of doing things. You're always going to be looking for another way to live life, another way to learn, another way to grow. There's just so much about the cleaner mentality that you can benefit from as a human being, just to live that best life that people always talk about. Tim Grover spoke about that, there's two kinds of successful people. There's the successful people that get, to the top, and then, they all of a sudden have this mentality of, I'm too good to do all those little things, and they easily pay other people to do them for them. But what separates someone like Michael Jordan from someone else, that kind of, prideful mentality that those other people have when they reach that status is Michael Jordan, even at his highest level of success, he still, packed his own bags for games. He still laced up his own shoes. He still booked his own flights. Like, he continued to do all those little things to remind him where he came from and how he started. And did I already speak about that? I think I did. It's okay. It's all right. We're going to move on. That's all. So during the podcast, I'm going to the podcast with Ed Milet and Tim Grover. Ed Milet brings up the fact that winning back in the day was what we considered winning, or what society considered winning, was knowledge, because this was pre-internet, before everything was at your fingertips, before everything was on your phones, and now these days winning is so easy because knowledge is so accessible. You can easily look it up. And as long as you apply it, right? Applied knowledge is knowledge. But these days, what makes a winner isn't necessarily about what you know and how you do it. It's about the work that you're constantly putting in. And so the grind is always going to be a grind, guys. And just because the grind, it doesn't necessarily just mean something physical. It's like physical and mental. You're going to get knocked down 1,000 times. Something that I loved about Michael Jordan is it's that cleaner mentality. He didn't go out and perform at the way he was supposed to perform because the work that he put in, his job was to put up so many points. His job was to play the game the best that he could. His job was not to turn the ball over. His job was not to miss a free throw, So what did he take pride in? He couldn't tell you all the shots that he shot, but he could tell you all the times that he messed up. And that's what I love about people. And I hear that a lot. It's like, it's not, the people that I admire are not the people that look what I got, look what I did. It's the people that are willing to say, hey, look at all the times I messed up. Look what I learned within those times. Those are the people I want to communicate with. Those are the people I want to learn from, because that's how I'm going to learn. Let's see how you did it, how I'm going to go out and do it also. What can I take from your experience and apply it in my experience? And just like most people, when you finally do learn something, it's because you experienced it yourself. So growing up, my mom unintentionally set my mindset up that way, and I'm blessed that she did that without knowing. She loved us, she cared for us, but she also had since she wanted to protect us so much, she sheltered us way too much. And Mom, I love you, but Jesus, you sheltered us a lot. And so y'all heard me say the story about, me driving on the highway and coming home and being like, I did it. And she had no idea. But that's the way I did a lot of things growing up, is just having to prove myself, her excuses for not allowing me to do certain things at certain points was because my brother hadn't done it, or I didn't have enough experience to prove to her that I was capable of doing it. And so I would just find ways to show her, like, it's going to be okay. I can do this. Let me take care of this. Even in like really tough situations, because she had unintentionally instilled this mentality in me, or created this beast, this monster within me, when she needed me the most. Sad story, but when my parents got separated and my mom couldn't, face my dad initially, I guess who got in the car and drove to meet up with my dad and let him know that, hey, we knew what was going on? I did. I was the first one, it's because I had that strength within me. Like, hey, nothing's gonna stop me from saying what I have to say, from growing where I need to go, from getting done what we need to get done, to fixing what we need to fix. Like, this sucks right now, but Mom, don't worry, I have your back. We're gonna get through this together. That's, like I said, Mom, thank you for unintentionally making me the incredible human that I am today. But yeah, guys, it hasn't, I've told you this before, I haven't always had this mentality, or I have, but I didn't necessarily have it full. I wasn't always utilizing it. It's kind of been hidden in my back pocket, or I lost it during a certain time period in my life. And it wasn't until I met Spencer, and this is one of the things I love about Spencer, is when I met him, he has such a beautiful story of how he got to where he is today. And he didn't share with me initially everything that he's been through. He waited a few months, and when he finally opened up to me about like his upbringing and how he got to where he was today, and I asked him, why didn't you tell me this sooner? He told me, I didn't want guilt from you. I didn't want you to meet me and be like, oh, I feel badly for you, or oh, or he didn't want me to think that it was an excuse for any of his setbacks. Like, Spencer is a beast in himself. He's overcome so many obstacles, and we live the beautiful life that we live and experience what we experience because he's worked his ass off to get him to where he is today. And so at the end of the day, when he wakes up in the morning, I give him a kiss on the face, and I tell him, good morning, champion. I'm usually the first one out of bed, but I tell him that when I'm getting out of bed, because I believe that he is a champion, and he is capable. He's proven to be capable of just the most incredible things. And so just having him in my environment, and then him putting me in the environment that I am now, where I'm able to continue to grow from people like him, that's how I got in front of you right now. He found that light within me. So thank you, Spencer. I love you. There was that. But golly. Let's see here. I'm going to go through these notes. I know we're going on 30 minutes here, and we still have Giveaway Monday, so. The last few things that I want to say are, Tim Grover speaks about, when did hard work become like a skill that people acquire? Like, shouldn't hard work just be something everyone is doing every day? Like, I shouldn't have to ask you to work hard. You should just be willing to give me 150% in everything that you do, whether you like it or not, because that's the standard that you hold yourself to, Those incredible human beings are the ones I look forward to keep in my circle. And so he says, like, he made a little joke about, like, if you're looking at a resume, the people that put I'm a hard worker in the first line, he's like, those are the people I just yas out, right away, because that shouldn't be something that you're proud of. Like, you should just be that no matter what. He says, I look for the people who admit to being lazy and growing to be a great worker, who know what their weaknesses are, but don't use it as an excuse for being able to perform, less or whatever. Like, they realize what they are, and they face it, and then they do what they have to do to get the job done, So again, just that mentality of, I'm not going to make excuses. I realize where my weaknesses are, and I work hard every day to improve myself so that I can do the best in everything that I do. How badass are those people, right? And let's see here. Talked about how people want a pat on the back for the little things that they're supposed to do. You're supposed to do hard work. I'm not going to give you a pat on the back for that. And then just a little bit on Friday when I was talking about my evolve and how I've evolved and just kind of let go of certain family and friends along the way, made those sacrifices like I spoke about a second ago. Tim Grover says that the more successful you become, the less people care about your problems, because suddenly to other people, they think that with all the monetary things that you suddenly own, your cars, your houses, whatever, that's your cure-all, and that's not. I mean, how many celebrities do we see every day, or successful people that we see that struggle mentally? They're the ones that are like, I have anxiety, or they're on drugs, or they're committing suicide because they can't handle it. Like, a real successful person is working on their mental game. It takes, they literally like train their minds, because they realize that your mind is the most powerful tool that you have, that you own. And so he says that, once you reach a certain level of success, people don't want to hear about your problems because suddenly they're irrelevant. They feel like they can't relate. But at the end of the day, if I can remind you all that we're all human. We all have emotions that we have to go through, no matter how much money we have, no matter how much fame we have. At the end of the day, you and I are the same. And the only thing that's going to separate us is how we choose to handle what we go through, how we choose to feel, how we choose to step up and live life every day. So yeah, guys, I encourage all of you to get a Post-it, and I want you to write down, I can have, be, or do anything. And whatever you choose, whatever your dream is, whatever you want most in life, or whatever you want to achieve in the week or the year or whatever, look at that Post-it note, post it somewhere you can see it, and just remind yourself, I can have, be, or do anything I want. I can have, be, or do anything I want. I'm not even kidding. You will get it. You can have it. It is totally up to you. I will have what I want, one day. Why do I listen to the people I listen to? Because like I said, that's who I want to learn from. I wake up every day and write all these things in my journal as if they've already happened. Dude, you might think I'm crazy, but I'm not. And I guarantee you, when I'm, and when I'm achieving all these things that I want to achieve, you're gonna, call me and you're gonna be like, Sarah, you're so lucky. How did you do that? And I'm not gonna tell you. And I'm going to tell you, it wasn't luck. It was hard work. It was hard work that I put in every single day when other people weren't. I'm going to remind you of this video now. I'm going to tell you, go back and look up that Relentless video. Go back and, hear what I had to say about hard work. Hard work. How hard are you willing to work when other people aren't looking? How hard are you willing to, work when other people aren't doing anything? How hard are you willing to work to get you to where you need to go? Be relentless. # relentless. I love that podcast. Please listen to that podcast. Watch the Last Dance documentary. You will gain so much if you stay open-minded. If that's you, I hope everyone, strives to be the best person that they can be every single day. That's what I hope for you, genuinely hope for you. I hope that you try your best to live life outside of your comfort zone. I know it's, easier said than done for most of you, but I guarantee you, once you start making it a habit every day, start small and then gradually, work your way up to bigger risks. And you'll see that the reward is always the reward that you feel personally in your heart is the one that you're gonna cling on to the most. It's not gonna be about any of the prizes that you get along the way. It's just gonna be about the confidence that you build within yourself from constantly pushing yourself to do things that made you uncomfortable, So yeah, guys, be relentless. Golly, I wish I had that first video that I recorded earlier, because I'm sure there I said things in there that I didn't say now. But yeah, let's go back to what I said at the beginning. Please comment, reach out to me, let me know your thoughts on relentlessness. Let me know your dreams, your goals, what you do every day passionately that you love. If it's, it's not work, if you love it, find something, whatever it is that excites you, that keeps you motivated every single day. Let me know if you watch the Last Dance documentary. Like I said earlier, what were your takeaways? Just, guys, connect with me mentally, that's my goal in life, is just to become so mentally strong like Michael. I want to be like Mike, # like Mike, where in a second, in a moment, I can change, my mentality from, oh, all right, you're going to call me out. It's all right. I'm going to prove you wrong in seconds here. It's not going to take me a year anymore or whatever. I'm going to do it right now in an instant because I can, because my mental game is so absolutely incredible. Like Jesus, Gary Vee said it at one time. Doesn't matter how long it takes you to get to where you want to go. Even if you're 80 years old and you live to be 100, guess what? You still had 20 years that you got to experience the success that you were chasing for so long. So the age doesn't matter. He started at my age, and I love that. That's one of the reasons I love to listen to Gary Vee is, you know, he'll tell you, like, his journey started at 30. How old am I? 30. You know, I'm like, oh, like you just find all these inspiring stories everywhere when you really start digging into this stuff. So hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get to giveaway Monday because we're going on 35 minutes here and I gotta get ready. Holy moly. Giveaway Monday. I pulled it out earlier, to be honest. I'm not even gonna lie. In my first video, our winner was John Magianes. John, I love you. And why do I love you so much? Because since even in high school and all these years, you have just always been such a bright light. Your energy has been contagious. You have always had like the biggest smile that people just love to see. Your family is absolutely beautiful. Your daughter, we know, just celebrated her 5th birthday. You and your wife threw just the best birthday that y'all could for her with the confetti and the cupcakes and everything that you share with us is always just so uplifting and beautiful. And so I just wanted to give you kudos on being such a great example for us all. So thank you, John. Congratulations. I'm going to reach out to you shortly, just asking you a few questions how I can get that gift card over to you. But we love you. The world loves you. We love seeing you out there doing your thing. You're amazing. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for sitting tight through today's episode. It for sure is the longest one that I have up to date. Last week I talked about doing a podcast with one of my good friends yesterday. We went ahead and postponed that to next Sunday. We just had some things come up last minute. We couldn't squeeze it in. So if you were excited about that, just like I was, we're going to do it next Sunday. So hopefully by next Monday, we should have some good content for you all to share. And I'm just excited to just have that, moment with him and just talk about some good things. But anyways, guys, let's have a great week. Do great things. And as always, just continue to, be the light in your own lives and everyone else's you surround yourselves with. You're all capable of amazing, amazing things. I believe it. I know you are. And as always, remember that you can have, be, or do anything that you want. You just have to be relentless. All right, guys, have a great week. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.